It's Moss. Ooh!
On today's episode of Believe in Bills, Muki and Justus are joined by
Zack Moss, running back, Utah.
It's Moss. Oh, good cut by Moss. Throws and completes it. And still was able to stay up.
Nice by Feliciano on the outside. That's just a great effort. Turn it upfield. Down. Finish the run.
What's good, sports world? Welcome to Believe in Bills podcast, brought to you by the Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Muki Hawkins. On my left side over there, I got the general, Justus Radford in the building. And come on, man. We told y'all we was going to give you my boy Zemo, Zack Moss, Mr. Business Decisions. You know what I'm saying? Big bag. Zack Moss is in the building. What's up, my guy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Just, surviving the summer. I can tell you that. I'm surviving the summer because I don't know. In both of my Bills' lifetimes, I guess that this is probably the most anticipated training camp of all time. Even when the Bills back then, when was going to the Super Bowls, this one here is different because everybody's saying it. You know what I'm saying? So everything's going back to normal. You're out to Rochester for the first time in a long time with all this swirling. So it's the anticipation of finally getting to camp, getting back to it is just like it's taking too damn long. Justin, what you think about that? How you feel about that?
I think he on mute.
You still on
muted? Sorry.
See, he don't know what to do with himself. He don't know to mute himself or not. He just that excited.
This is my second season covering the Bills and like my first off season. So it's cool to witness everything. But I agree. It feels like the draft was forever ago. Feels like I'm ready for everything to get started, just so we could get into the swing of things because I'm ready for this chip, man. I really am.
So Zach, what are your thoughts? I know, to you, OTAs just ended last week. But what's the anticipation been like for you?
I mean, obviously, just ready to get back out there. This has been my first real offseason in like 3-4 years. Finally, not coming into an offseason with an injury. So I'm being able to go ahead and literally focus on the things that I need to focus on instead of an injury. So it's definitely been a good break, though, much needed break, especially from last season. But it's anticipation is high for sure to get back out there. OTAs was fun, just getting out there with the guys and things like that. But I think everybody's ready, like you said, everybody ready for this season and especially for this camp to get rolling.
Justin, what you got from my guy?
Yeah, I have a question. So I mean, I know you're from Hialeah Gardens and down there in Florida, and I know there's a really, really big Florida presence, especially in the running back room, but on the team in general. What's that like for you guys in the locker room? Like, does that help create the bond that makes things easier?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, all of us. I mean, we got 4 guys, all from Miami. We all grew up essentially no further than 25, 30 minutes out from each other. I think that by itself, right now we ain't really thinking about it as being 4 guys in the same room on the same NFL team. I think, as we get older and things, we'll look back and be like, man, that's crazy because that don't happen a lot for one. But no, it makes it, I think, easier. A lot of us, the addition of Duke, I think it's been really big for us. Just me and Motor essentially still young, and then adding James, he's young as well, being a rookie. Having a guy like Duke who's been on different teams, seen a lot of things, had success in this league, and things like that. Him giving us the knowledge and things like that as well. It's big for us, all of us being from Miami. That makes it so much easier for us all to just click. So I mean, it's good vibes. OTAs was good vibes with those guys. So I can imagine how camp gonna be when we get those pads on and we start making plays out there.
No doubt, man. Like, so here it is. You're going into your third season. What are some of the things that you're, basically still trying to adjust to in year three?
I mean, I'd probably say just being a complete back each and every time I step on the field. You know what I mean? Not having any laps and things like that or whatever. But just just always competing against myself. You know what I mean? I'm never looking across and trying to compare myself to nobody else. I'm always looking inner. So just overall, I think I can get better at everything. Like I always say, I think I say that a lot, but it's true to me. Just because you never can be at the top of your game. I mean, even the guys who's at the top of their game, essentially they work just as hard or harder when they were starting off and things like that. So that's just what I believe and things like that. So yeah, I mean, overall, I want to continue to get better in everything I do, and just be as consistent as possible.
So being at Utah, you broke all types of records, all-time leading rusher there, first rusher with 3 seasons of over 1,000 yards, and you still had the injury, which took away a full season. Yeah. So, being a top dog there at Utah, and I mean, from the numbers, at least far and away the best ever there. What's it like going into the NFL, being here where you got to compete, with these other talented backs for some playing time and also doing it on a championship caliber roster where you guys are the favorites to win everything?
Yeah, I mean, for one, just growing up, being from Miami, I think just that alone, I was already knew how to handle competition, right? It ain't like this is my first time ever being in competition. So I understand it from high school. I went through it in college. Obviously, I didn't start right away. As a freshman going into college, I had to wait, work out that type of situation, and had to beat 3 dudes going into my sophomore year, which ended up allowing me to play the rest of the time and showing who I could be and things like that. So competition is not been new to me. I think it's a good thing, obviously, and I think when you like you say, doing it on a championship caliber team, I think definitely adds to it. Just because everyone wants to be that guy, essentially, who leads or helps this team get to where they want to be and things like that. But I mean, it's definitely going to be a group effort from everybody. I think just from the offensive all, because no one man can do anything by himself and things like that. But competition, like I said, it's nothing new to me. Definitely excited for it. Excited to see how everybody have success and things, and see how everything shakes out or whatever.
Now, speaking of that competition, you always want to work on certain things that's going to make you a better player for competition. So, what are some of the things you've been working on that will make you a better player year 3?
Just speed and flexibility. Those are the 2 main things. I mean, obviously the power is there. X, Y, and Z, all those things that I can do. I think just the speed and flexibility things that I've always been trying to work on in the off season and things like that. Just continuously doing those things and just being stronger overall in my lower body to help me, break more tackles and get more extra yards and things like that. So yeah.
Now, when you look at it though, like and I know I asked you this your rookie year. Going back to it now, you've been in pros for a couple of years now. Everybody always say the speed of the game. You know what I mean? Like, is that still an adjustment for you, or how true is that statement?
I think it was definitely true to me more of last year. I think I hit a rookie wall because talking to some of the guys on the team that's new now from different places, I always try to pick their brains to try to learn, from their experiences on different teams, and things like that, and kind of what they went through, guys who in years 6, 7, 8, whatever we have that we brought in and things like that. But for me, my rookie year, obviously 2020 wasn't a regular year for nobody. So, I mean, I remember just being in California for like another month and a half, maybe 2 from when I got drafted and then going straight into camp and things like that. So I didn't really, feel anything really. I just felt like, okay, we just back to playing ball. But no, it's a true statement for sure. I think every player has definitely went through it at some point in their career. For me specifically, looking back on it, it definitely hit me last year, and things like that. Just getting back adjusted to everything. I felt like after the injury, battling back from so many little knick-knack injuries that were, in line because of the ankle injury and things like that. And early in the preseason, really didn't get any of that type of stuff as well. So, it's definitely a true statement. But I think now, I feel so much, like you said, I feel so much better in the offense right now. The confidence is definitely high in the things I know I can do and what I could bring and try to help this team get to where we want to get to. And I think OTAs was a good stepping stone for me to actually, get to where I want to be and things like that.
So you mentioned how you more comfortable with your role in this offense, and I think you have a very unique skill set that a lot of running backs don't necessarily bring to the table these days. So when you were being raised in South Florida, obviously guys like Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee at Miami and stuff. What type of running backs did you model your game after?
I don't know. I love to just take a lot of things from a lot of guys. A lot of people don't know I started playing. I didn't play running back until my senior year of high school. So I always like to think that I'm a late bloomer, essentially at the position, because I played linebacker for all the way up until then. So, really learning the running back position, it's kind of something I did from my senior year to my freshman year in college. But a lot of guys that I like, that stick out to me was, obviously Marshawn was going to always be my favorite back. Arian Foster, which I think a lot of people forget about how good he was and things like that. But, I think him, I loved Willis McGahee as well. And I think Matt Forte. I think those four guys were the guys that I watched just the most, just because they did so many different things, but it was also so similar in what I felt I can do in my body type and things like that, from catching the passes out of the backfield to being able to run between tackles and, being effective in the red zone as well, like many of those guys was.
Now, with that being said, being that late bloomer, right, though, so do your style change? You know what I mean? Does the style eventually change from college to pro? You know what I mean?
I think it has to, in a sense, right? I think you get smarter more than anything, right? I think in college, you were I felt like I was doing more of trying to, run guys over essentially or whatever. In this league, essentially, you don't really need to do that because, we don't have the greatest tacklers. If you look at the numbers, we have a lot of missed tackles all the time, every year, really high numbers, essentially. So speaking of the numbers, the tackling isn't the greatest. So I think
you, Josh, and Devin, honestly, all three, y'all.
Yeah, so the numbers are high when you talk about trying to force missed tackles. So I think that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to change. It's not really, looking out for contact all the time and things like that. Essentially knowing when to do that and when not to do that and things like that. But sometimes it's just a natural thing for me. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the biggest thing. That's the only thing that I really would say I'm changing in a sense will be, trying to force more missed tackles, add more moves and things like that. Some things that I've never really essentially had to do up until this point.
All right. So my man Jay Spence in the comment section. Actually, you interviewed with Jay Spence before, so I'm sure you're familiar with him. He also says he drafted you in his dynasty league, so he needs some good numbers from you this year. He's asking, about the changes in the run game still, but just as an overall group is what it sounds like. He's asking, how will the changes affect the run style of the team overall with, Dorsey coming in, with Cromer coming back, Brady, and, all those guys in that offensive room.
Yeah, I think just, obviously doing this OTA season, this OTA with them this summer, I think they emphasized the run, I think, a lot more than we have in the past few years. Last year I didn't do OTAs because of my ankle, but I remember just watching OTAs then. I don't remember us calling a power run, right, with no gear on. And we was calling power runs with no gear on as OTAs in the red zone. So I think if just seeing that as a back, and you seeing your OC, O-line coach, all those guys essentially wanting to run the ball. We're talking about in OTAs, but when it just like this, I think that sets a tone and sends a message to the backs So I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like in camp. I know Coach Dorsey obviously has a lot of up his sleeve. I mean, he's doing so many things, and it's crazy to see him expand the playbook as much as he has already, just so early. So it's dope to see that. I mean, him obviously adding his own flair to it. We all know how great he was in his career and things like that. So, and the backs that he played with, so he knows a little bit something about turning around and handing the ball off sometimes and things like that. So it's going to be fun to see, especially just in camp and getting those things right.
And he's another Miami guy, right?
Yeah, I think he's from Cali.
Dorsey,
yeah,
He
he's
played
from
at
Cali.
the U. He a Miami guy. That West Coast been out the window. Once he went to the U. He from the U. He ain't from the West Coast no more. That's all.
Yeah, he played with my cousins and everything down there. So
Right.
I was just about to ask you, Sonoris Moss, Santana Moss, and actually Patrick Peterson as well. All your cousins. Like, what type of advice and tutelage or mentorship did you get from those guys on your way to the NFL?
I mean, to the league, not much. Obviously, I wasn't really reaching out like that and things like that. I think more of after my senior year, we started getting more into, started talking a lot more, essentially.
Who specifically, if you don't mind me asking?
Sonoris, mostly. And then Santana chimes in here and there and things like that as well. But we started talking more because I started having more questions, essentially, about, because at college I figured, all right, I'm already doing this. I've already been in it for a while. I got that kind of underhand and things like that. But the league was, obviously it's a new monster. It's a new monster every single season. It doesn't matter what you did your last year, 2 years before that, right? We see the league eat up guys and spit them out. It doesn't matter, Pro Bowl or not. So just trying to pick their brains, because obviously they had success. They was able to play a while in this league and things like that and transition from college. So just picking their brains on, what I can do to get the upper hand, what I can do to have success, what I can do to essentially, stay in this league for a while, because it's harder. It's easier to get here than it is to stay here. So that's what our conversations really, insist of and things like that.
All right. That's a fact as well. But man, I want to talk about Dorsey, man. You know what I mean? So what are some of the things you like the best that Dorsey brings?
I think his attitude and his confidence. I think, everyone knows he's super confident in himself and what he's calling and all these type of things as well. But just, he's a competitor, man. I mean, just from playing tug of war to dodgeball, right, in the OTA when we had things that we did with the team. I mean, just competitive as hell, just fiery, man. I think, and that just, if you're not a fiery dude, that makes you want to be fiery, because you're seeing someone who is doing that, right, and it trickles down, because Josh has that in him, Diggs has that in them. Guys who are more vocal with it. So I think as an offense, I feel like we've been more fiery. I think everybody has stepped it up, essentially, when it comes to the exuberance and things like that, and really trying to go out there and dominate. Because I mean, OTAs wasn't like a regular OTAs. It felt like everybody was like ready to go. Like we could have started camp right there, and guys would have been like ready to go. Like, so no one was really sitting back just chilling after the Kansas City game, relaxing. Like dudes was really working. Like I took a week off and I was going straight through. So I can imagine other dudes and things like that. So yeah, Dorsey is going. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. I mean, he was doing so much last year for us. Now him having a bigger role. It's the first time OC and things like that. It's gonna be exciting to see what he do, because I mean, he's moving guys around left and right, putting them in different spots. So he know how to make sure the playmakers touch that ball for sure.
Absolutely, and I could be a witness. I could testify to that, and that's the crazy part of how excited that I am, and probably every Bills fan though, because like, yo, if you like, you got probably like, yo, they got this. Nah, it's too much going on. That's gonna be a problem it's going to be so hard for a team to try to figure this offense out. That's what they don't. That's the scary part about that. It's going to be hard for a defense to. They don't even know who's going to be out there, and it's going to be bad because now boys is in position to make plays, no matter who you are.
Yeah, it really don't matter who you is. Like,
we got work for you. In this set, you're here. In this set, ooh. I try to get it out of him. I try, but I know he wanted to say just juggernaut because y'all running everything in the kitchen sink. It ain't just no except the kitchen sink. No, they ain't running the kitchen sink too, if they have to. You know what I mean? But with all those weapons, though, Zack, how explosive can this offense be? Can potentially this team have 1,000? I say this. I think Motor's going to have 1,000 yards. I really do. I think he's going to. It's like the crazy part about this offense, like everybody gonna have a breakout year.
That's definitely the vibe around. I mean, when you talk about obviously starting from the receivers, I mean, Diggs gonna be Diggs, right? Gabe. Everybody see what Gabe doing in the offseason, right? He's just hyping guys up because he hyping me up every time I see a video of him working. But you got dudes like Gabe, the way he ended the year off, and he was hungry from last year. Like he walked in hungry, and he never lost that hunger. Because we trained together pre-draft, so I was able to get to know Gabe back in January, and I seen who he was essentially then. Mm-hmm. So now to see him become who he is and things like that, it's good to see that. But you talk about Jamison Crowder, you talk about McKenzie, and then our backfield. Then you talk about OJ Howard and Dawson. It's like it's
right.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the two tight ends, that's probably like one of the scariest duos that the league's probably seen in a hot second. And I hope to see them boys, really do their things, because it's to see OJ. I mean, for one, wow, big as shit. Like, like he is specimen. Like he real life a specimen. So it's gonna be, and Dawson can run like a horse. So we got so many weapons, but the biggest thing is just putting everything together, man. And I think that's going to be the only thing that we have to do is really put it together, because I know we got dogs, and I know everybody's going to be hungry, and we know what we can do. So I think that's the biggest motivation than anything. So I'm excited because I know camp going to be fireworks, media going to be going crazy and shit. That's why I'm going to make sure I'm off of it. I ain't gonna be nowhere. I ain't gonna be nowhere near all that and things like that. Reading into it and things. But
now I might catch you in the hallway, man, because I think I'm gonna do the first week up there. So I might catch you in the hallway sometime, but I'm gonna leave y'all be. You know what I mean? I gotta bond with my media guys. You know what I mean? And speaking of camp, though, like, what have the vets really told you about camp at Rochester? Because this is gonna be your first time out there.
Yeah, I mean. I just heard some good news finally that we're gonna probably have some queen beds. That's the good news. So I know we're gonna be up in dorms and things like that. And I ain't been.
Was it full size before?
Yeah, you gotta put the two twins together, baby. Get it how you live.
Twins together. I'm like, man, I ain't did that since freshman year, man.
College, yeah.
to me, then it felt good because I'm like, man, this is the first time I have my own room. So I'm like, okay, it's chilling. But I'm like, I ain't really trying to go back to that now.
Right.
But no, I mean, I've heard, good and bad about it. Obviously, being away, I think doing the last two training camps, pretty much just going right home. I live, not too far from the facility, so I've been able to go right home, and it felt like, that really wasn't in camp. But I think it's gonna be good for us, real good for us. I know the biggest thing they wanted to get back to what essentially what started all this, especially right now when we in the midst of of what we want to be in essentially. So it's gonna be good though. I'm excited to get up there. Excited for I know the fans gonna be out there and things like that. So it'll be a good atmosphere because this will be the first time that obviously I've been up there. I don't even know what it looked like. I ain't even went on Google yet. Nothing. Nothing. So it's gonna be fun though for sure.
Yeah, the atmosphere is going to be electric, man. And it's like you got to go through 3 phases of being a rookie for 3 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would have been got this out of the way under the normal circumstances. You know what I mean? But be going into year 3, you're like, damn, the first time I'm going up here. You don't know what to expect. So that's going to be a whole different experience for you. So, I got to get your reaction, you know what I mean, when I meet you in the hallway. You know what I mean? I asked you about that, but camp is awesome though. You know what I mean? From, on my side of things with the fans and stuff like that, it's awesome. It's a great setup. And, the people are really nice up there. They're going to take care of you up at camp. You know what I mean? And then, it's locking as usual. You know what I mean? But boy, oh boy, y'all going to have a lot of attention. They're gonna have a lot of attention. The big wigs are gonna be up there. The NFL networks. My little old me, I'm gonna be over in the corner somewhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Ticket Hub or was it Ticket
big
Master
dogs up
crashed
there, man.
earlier.
How do y'all, because it's coming. You know what I mean? With all the hype, and I asked the coach too, and I gotta ask, like, with all this Super Bowl hype, and people are saying, y'all, everybody. What is that like for you just to wake up and turn on SportsCenter or turn on the news? And it's y'all that they're talking about, your team. They're the Super Bowl favorite. There it is. Do you read into it? Do it motivate you to go out and want to just prove everybody right? Just prove yourself right for one. You know what I mean? Because that's the ultimate prize. But just to hear it, sometimes it's unavoidable. How does coach prepare y'all for that one? And what's that feeling like to know that everybody is talking about you in that high regard?
Yeah, for one, what it feels like, it's crazy, honestly. We say we don't really tune into it, but you got to see it because people either send it to you, your family talk to you about it, fans see you out, wherever it may be, right? So and things like that or whatever. But no, it feels crazy though. I think just because, I remember when I got drafted, and I remember, the first thing I did essentially was go on YouTube and, kind of check out the Bills because I hadn't been watching, because I wasn't a big NFL watcher before I got in, right? I was in college, so I was essentially just watching a lot of college ball, right? And just a lot of basketball, because that's really the sport I watch the most is basketball. So I remember watching, and I'm like, okay, we had just lost to the Texans in the playoffs. And I'm like, okay, but you're seeing the pieces and things like that. Then I get drafted here. Motor starts telling me about things or whatever. Then I get here. Then I see the team. And then Josh just explodes. Explodes. And then I'm like, it's crazy because I'm like, I think he finished, second or third in MVP that year?
Second.
2020? Second.
Yep.
I'm like, damn. I'm literally standing next to a dude who just came that close to being.
Should have won.
Yeah, but, Aaron Rodgers stuff. But I'm like, damn, that's crazy, right? So I'm like, okay, going into the next year after I break my ankle, I'm like, well, I know this team, like, I was hurt to not be on the field in the AFC Championship game and in the Baltimore game and things like that, because I knew what type of team we had, and I'm like, I'm missing on those moments. But to answer your question, essentially, it's crazy to think that being drafted, you get, because not everybody gets drafted into essentially a perfect situation, right? Where you're favorites. You got a hell of a quarterback the way we do. You got a hell of a team, hell of a coaching staff, hell of a faculty and everybody like that, and the staff that just all around us, and all type of stuff like that. So it's crazy to think that, because it's almost like a dream that you live in, just from the hearing the part, because a lot of players played in this league and they never even get the hype of being a Super Bowl contending team, right? I was just talking to E. Wood on my podcast maybe yesterday morning, I believe it was. And he was telling me how when he got drafted here, like it was different. Like it was just so different to play and not win, and things like that. So for us to be winning and people, taking notice of it, we're doing something right. I think, coach does a good job in just making sure we understand our origins, right? And I think that's one reason we're getting back to Rochester, because essentially we don't have to, right? But I think that's part of the reason, getting back to our origins, blocking out the noise. You guys been inside the facility, you see the block the noise, all that type of stuff, all posted around. So, he does a good job of that. And I think, the guys do a good job in really locking in and understanding that. But obviously, as we go through the season, we'll see, the ups and the downs that are definitely going to come and things like that. We'll see how we, because I know we battle tested. So we'll see how we, shake back off of a lot of things and keep going.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So it's just like, it's the anticipation is just crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go to Dixon, Omaha, Nebraska, and they got Josh Allen throwing the ball. Like, really? Like, you didn't see Jim Kelly in Omaha. You know what I mean? You didn't see him there. You know what I mean? Like, so all the hoopla and I don't want to say hype, but just the chatter of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's never been to this magnitude. And the Bills went 4 straight. We could be going into year 3 of that Super Bowl run. It still doesn't match the anticipation that this all season has. It just doesn't match that. You know what I mean? And they was there. They went 4 years. You know what I mean? And then you gotta look at it too. Like, I have a young co-host on my radio show, right? And he just turned 21. So I said, it's 2 different perspectives from you. I was like, you may have a different favorite team growing up in Buffalo because during your lifespan, the Bills wasn't good. You know what I mean? And I'm being nice when I say the Bills wasn't good. Okay. But now for you to see them come from the bottom and now they're the top, you know what I mean? I know that's a different feel from you. Me, it's like, damn, it's been 20 years. It's been a long damn time. You know what I mean? I remember that having that feeling, but I never had this anticipation. But for a kid that just turned 21, it's totally, completely different from him because it's, you know what I mean? Bills is my favorite team. A lot of people get mad at me because of that. I guess I'm supposed to, be that way. And with the team I cover, I get it. But everybody's a fan of somebody. You know what I mean? Nobody say the nothing to Nick Wright. You know what I mean? When you talk about the Chiefs the way he do. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, you know what I mean? For me to double up, to see that on a double up, you know what I mean? In a position I am too, does definitely make a great difference. You know what I mean? It's a hell of I get a front row seat to it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm so happy about. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just a different feel. And I'm telling you, this camp at Rochester, that joint gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy because it's gonna be a first camp for just about a lot of people. Diggs, it's gonna be his first Rochester. Your whole drive class is gonna be totally different. You know what I mean? But the good thing about this team is that majority of them is young. That's a scary part. Like y'all get one, it get contagious after a while. Y'all can rack out 4 win 4 straight. You know what I mean? Go, wipe the slate clean. Y'all pay the bill. It took us 20 years to pay the bill, but thank you. But Zach, if you had a choice, would you preferred to be used a little bit more downhill now than opposed to coming in your rookie year, just more zone oriented? You know what I mean? You're big, you physical, so power is just your nature. But more or less how they were using you in the early stages. You know what I mean? What you would prefer now?
I think downhill, that's what I've always just loved more. Because I get to use more of everything that I got, right? So I think just downhill would probably be more for me. I understand, obviously, just that wasn't our scheme. Essentially, the last 2 years, we weren't a big power team lineup and things like that. But just like I said, I want to be consistent and well-rounded in the zone game, the power game, all that type of stuff. So, but definitely, if I had to pick, if I'm like, all right, coach, let's run something right here, it's definitely going to be a power play. We'll be getting downhill, and we can make some things shake like that.
No doubt. And I got a few more before I let you go. Man, this new offensive line, though. What's it like during the pre-snap? And you got Roger Saffold or Deion Dawkins on the left, and then other Sky Towers over here on the right.
Yeah, we definitely, looking at it on paper, we got probably one of the deepest lines in the league. And we talking about, last 2 years, our line wasn't that deep, and we were injury plagued a lot, which prohibited us, in the running game and sometimes in the pass game. And we were still able to do a lot of great things the last 2 seasons on the offense side of the ball. So, thinking about, I think the biggest thing is those guys like Raj and Queensberry and all the guys we brought in. You talking about guys who are vets, who've been other places, who've done some things in this league and have blocked for some people in this league, right? And you talking about Coach Crone. I think he might be he might be probably one of the better coaches I've ever been around, just from the way that he looks at the game, right? Excuse me. But the way he looks at the game is crazy, right? I remember the first time he gets there, OTAs, and me watching film, and he's showing us the clips of the Rams and with Todd Gurley and those guys when he was there, and things like that. And Roger was there. And I'm seeing the holes open up way I ain't never seen holes open up. Right. And I'm like, I remember watching when Todd Gurley was Todd Gurley, before the injury or whatever. And I remember him having those crazy years, those crazy runs, right? But I'm thinking, okay, it's Todd Gurley. But now I'm watching the film on it. I'm like, well, damn, these holes huge. Like, then he shows a clip of Tolbert running through those holes, and Tolbert was about a good 245, 250.
Yeah,
right.
A fullback, literally.
And he was getting through those holes we talk about 8-9 yards down the field being untouched. You know what I mean? You get a guy with that size, that those speed and everything like that. You get one of us untouched 8-9 yards down the field. It can get a little scary. Then looking back he was showing clips of Cam Akers' rookie year, and just his philosophy and the way he looks at the run game and things like that. It's just so different than what we've been doing essentially the last 2 seasons. So, and then bringing guys like you said, like Raj, those guys in that know the system and things like that, it helps speed along our guys we were used to other things. So it helps speed along that type of stuff for us. So it's great to see, because those dudes are huge for sure. So, and they can move. So that's a blessing.
For real. It's definitely a blessing. It did, on the flip side, with Bates returning, Spencer Brown in the second year, Tommy in the second year, where do you see, it's like, man, yeah, like you right. Yeah, y'all are deep. Like, they're skyscrapers too. Like, we didn't even talk about the rookie that's probably the tallest, down near 6'9".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, they pretty much have an idea of what they like to draft. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
In the way that Dorsey is, like, y'all running all types of different variations of run game that Bills fans hasn't seen. You know what I mean? Not in the Dable regime. I'll tell you, and that's what I see the difference in the run game. I see the difference. You know what I mean? Pass it, he put some tweaks in there too. But that's, some of the things I wanted to see is how important was the run game going to be to Ken Dorsey. And like you said, playing with those style of backs, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, those style of backs. He had the luxury to know how important a running back is to a quarterback. So, that's that component I think that he's going to bring to Josh Allen. And then, everybody's talking about, he got Josh ran 125 times last year. We all know he's not going to run for that this year. You know what I mean? But don't get it twisted. When, like you said, all those damn weapons, don't forget the quarterback can tuck and run too.
Exactly.
And they match you up with that team's basically third or weak linebacker, because you got to figure out what the hell they're going to do with any variation that's out there. Pick your poison. Yeah. You're going to be in a one-on-one situation that's not running back, or nobody there at all.
It's definitely going to be a lot of space on the field, more than there's ever been, especially this season. But like you said, the run game is definitely, I feel like we did a lot of good things. The OTAs, it was obviously a lot of emphasis on it and things like that. So, I mean, you definitely need a run game to win in this league. I think that's never going to change in football, period. Obviously the backs, we get lost essentially in what results in winning, right? Because there's never been a team who didn't have a team that can actually run the ball, right? You never just sat there and just threw the ball and won a game. I mean, won a championship. You can win some games throwing the ball all night. You can't win all year doing that. So he definitely understands what we have to get better at, and we understand that as well as a group. So I think we definitely going to be up for the challenge. It's going to be fun to see how everything works and things like that. But like you said, there's definitely going to be a lot of space. It's going to be a lot of headaches and a lot of head scratching on what we can do. So we just got to be ready to go each and every week.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, I totally agree. When I watch the film and I go on my show and I talk about how the running backs aren't the issue here in terms of the run game, it's always like anytime I watch film, there aren't very many opportunities to be had. And when you guys do get the opportunities, typically you make the most of it. So, I have a lot of time arguing with people about you guys. But this is Bills Mafia, right? And so, we got to know, how do you feel about the city itself in general? Like, what are some of your favorite spots, to go out to, food or otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite spots, I don't go out club or anything like that, really. That's just really not me. But some of my favorite food spots, definitely uh, Chop House, Bar Bill. I think Bar Bill is probably the best uh, to me. I ain't gonna go too deep into that, but I think Bar Bill is definitely the best to me. I ain't never been let down, not once there yet. But rather than that, man, I'm really just a homebody, really. I just like the fact that I can go out, be me, and not really be harassed all the time or whatever. Just people, I think the fans here do a great job of giving us our own privacy and things like that, right? Because I live in a community where we got a lot of guys over here, and then we got a lot of, regular people essentially over here as well, and they don't bother us at all. They just, say hello, keep it cordial, and keep it pushing or whatever. So it's good. That's great and things like that. But I'm back in Buffalo right now. I'm back early, and the weather's perfect, right? So I'm riding around. Got a Jeep, so I got my doors off, roof off, and I'm just enjoying this weather, man, before it gets to what we know.
For real. But
that's so common.
Yeah.
It's
so the rookies report on the 18th, right?
Yeah.
So will you be going early? I know y'all got to the 23rd, but you be like, man, scratch that. I'm just bad. I'm out here.
No, I'll go up on the report day. I'm already I've been back almost about 5 days now.
Mm-hmm.
So I just been inside the facility training with some of the other guys who were injured or who came back early as well. Just been training with them and our weight room staff and things like that. So when the rookies get here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they come to the facility first, and they get with the weight room coaches and things like that. So I'll be in there with those guys as well, just working on whatever we're working on that day, things like that. So yeah.
Speaking of the weight room, how is my guys Eric and Hal?
They good. They good. You know how they is. Funny as hell all day, every day, especially Hal.
But how did they get y'all prepared? Because man, at one point, it wasn't, from a recovery standpoint, it wasn't good. It was Sammy Watkins, Leotis McKelvin, a few others. But now, like, they do a good job on, getting you guys recovery from injuries and back in tip-top state. How helpful has those guys been, in reference to that?
Yeah, I think they've been great, man, honestly. I just can remember when I came, like, just speaking on my personal, when I first came in, when I first got drafted, like I said, I was in California the whole time. And I was training and whatnot, but I had some hamstring issues that I've never had in my life, and worked out with those guys for maybe like 2 weeks, and I ain't never had another, knock on wood, really hamstring issue ever again, right? They just know so much about the body and things like that and how to handle stuff or whatever. But I think it goes along with all the sports medicine. They do a good job of, some people are where they feel like they may know everything essentially or whatever, right? You don't get that vibe from them. I think, like I said earlier, like the whole faculty, the whole staff, they really just around us so well. They want everybody to be at their best. And I think, from the weight room staff to our trainers, right? Them talking together, meetings and things like that, understanding what we can do. That everybody in there is so cool together. You got the weight room guys in the training room. You got the training room guys in the weight room, essentially, and then our sports science team with Emma and Joe Collins and things, and the things that they do and the things that they brought and the knowledge that they brought and the guys buy into it. That's the biggest thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's great to have all the knowledge and the papers and the numbers and everything like that, but the guys really buy into it. You know, when we come from our own trainings, we come back and we buy right back into everything that we do here. And then, you know, even when we leave, you know, whatever information that our guys give us here, we take back to our training so we can make sure we can implement those things into the things that we do on a daily basis when we're not in the facility. So I think that's the biggest thing. You just got both sides working really well. I mean, you know, thankfully, it's all been working out pretty good for us.
No doubt. But how is like having a facility like that? Because that's like probably one of the state of the art in the NFL that I didn't see.
I've heard that.
You know what I mean? As far as a weight room, like, you know, having a workout bonus is great when you got a facility like that.
Cole Beasley said it was way better than the one in Dallas, and they pay a lot. So
essentially, I mean, I heard about what the weight room used to look like before that. Right. And I mean, I remember rookie year, they were like showing us what the weight room looked like through video, through Zoom, because we couldn't be there and things like that. I'm like, damn, this is a top notch. You know, you got everything. You got turf right there, you got turf inside. And then you got every machine that you can possibly imagine. I mean, they still putting new machines in there now. Like I said, that with the sports science stuff and these new machines that keep coming out, they keep trying to figure out ways for us to get better. And things like that. I mean, they got everything you need, right? I mean, you can essentially sit here and train here all year if you really wanted to. Because they got everything you need. They know what to do. But yeah, the weight room is spectacular. They keep it up, and they keep figuring out and trying new ways to get us better.
Justus, you got one?
No, I don't got no more. I will throw this one up from my man Tommy, though. He did have a question. He wanted to know, why'd you pick Utah over the U?
I mean, I was committed to the U originally. Obviously, had family that went there, being from there and things like that. But and then, you know, like I said, I started playing running back my senior year, and you know, I had my quarterback Tyler Huntley, who plays for the Ravens now.
He's a beast.
Yeah, Snoop. So we played together in my senior year. We had another guy, Damari Simpkins, one of our receivers, who we all played together in high school. And those two guys, you know, essentially got they committed to Utah first, right? Because Huntley was under recruited. I think the biggest offer he had at the time before Utah was FAU. So, and he was committed there, so he would have probably ended up playing with Motor instead of me. But he decided to go to Utah, and then Damari also decided to go to Utah, and they were early enrollees. So while I'm still sitting there in high school, they up there in Utah, and they telling me about it. They telling me about it and things like that. And I hadn't taken any visits yet, and I knew I wasn't gonna take a visit to Miami, right? So I was like I live 25 minutes from here. I can go there. Like, I still work out like 5 minutes away from right there. So I'm like, I can go there any day. But, you know, at the time, Utah and Tennessee was my two schools that I really narrowed it down to. I just didn't choose Miami essentially just because I didn't want to be that close to home, for one. Didn't want to be close to home. And then they had a lot of coaching changes going on, which they really ain't recuperated from until really right now, until what Cristobal is doing. Essentially in keeping all the homegrown talent, you know, home, right? We talk about, I mean, I talked about it like the other day on my podcast. I mean, I'm looking at all the guys that he's keeping in, the guys he's pulling from all the way in Washington and all these different areas of America. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. You talk about like guys like we had, I mean, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, you know, all those guys that went to Bama and things like that and had success there. If we had the coaching staff and things like that in place, at Miami, I think Miami, we talking about won a few natties by now, especially since 2013 at least. But yeah, just the coaching staff wasn't right, essentially. You know, I think I was ahead of the curve when it came to understanding college ball a little bit, because you don't want to be a player who goes to college and then they fire the coach that brought you in.
Yeah.
Then you got to restart and hope that you part of the next coach's regime, like what he wants in a player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, dodge the bullet. Went to Utah, and I think Coach Witt's been there, man. I think he's been there since like 2004. He just signed another extension with over there. So to have stability, I tell all the young guys that now, like who ask me whatever, I'll be like, man, make sure, it's nice to say, you play for the U. I know a lot of guys that I grew up with, or they was coming up around the same time that I went to the U, and now they're not playing ball no more just because they got caught up essentially in having to transfer, having to do this, having to do that, and all type of stuff. And it just wasn't the best situation. So I always tell guys like, man, it don't matter where you go. If you can play ball, they gonna find you. It ain't that. It's not hard. It's not hard. If you can play and you put it on the tape, then it don't matter. It don't matter what the side of the logo is on the side of your helmet, what you're doing it in. So just make sure you go to a place where the stability is there. So that means, you can make sure that you succeed in things like that. So that's essentially, why I chose Utah over Miami. It's a funny though, because people in Utah always call the University of Utah the U. And the first time I heard that, that's how it is. I don't know.
Right.
Because I'm like, I only know one U, and that's Miami. But it's funny though. It's funny.
Literally, no, you was at the U.
Yeah.
No, Utah actually makes more sense, low key, but the Miami is known for being the U. So
we're just talking about the letter. You know what I mean?
It makes more sense for sure. But I mean, you talk about those teams and those players and the impact that it had on the game of football and things like that, it can never be replaced. It can never be replaced. I still find myself playing on video games and choosing the U.
Right.
Over a lot of other schools.
That's
I noticed when you were talking about it, you said we. There. I thought that was interesting.
City to city, state to state. There's a U everywhere. You know what I mean? Because of what those boys did. But before I let you go though, dog, like, I know you're communication, you get your podcast going on and stuff like that. Let's reverse roles. You know what I mean? If you had to ask media a question or something or whatever, like, or during a presser, I know y'all be like, yo, is he really asking me this question? Or, I want to know what goes on in y'all mind. If y'all can ask us a question on the flip side after we ask y'all a question, what would it be?
I mean, you kind of, it hit my mind when you was talking about essentially how anticipated you was for the season and things like that. So, I mean, the only question I really got is like how was that drought of not winning? Like, right, like you said, you obviously as a fan, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody know, and then also being a reporter and literally having to, like, essentially be in it. Like that was your life every day, like, because like I said, I've never played on a team. Essentially, that was just like, even like the day I started playing football. I mean, Little Leagues. I think I played Little Leagues for like 5-6 years. We won 4 Super Bowls, right? So I didn't know about really losing. Then high school, essentially the same, right? I didn't win a state, but we was a team that won all the time, right? And in college, we was, winning there and things like that. And now here, we win. So I'm like, I remember my rookie year, Lee Smith is like, don't get used to this, bro, because it don't happen like this every year. And I'm like, well, damn, Lee, it's looking pretty good right now. I'm gonna enjoy it. But that's my only question. Like, pretty much, like, how was that drought essentially? Because I mean, I've never been a fan of football. I've been a fan of like basketball, and the Lakers with my team with Kobe, and then kind of seeing the transition of the back end of Kobe to right now, right? Then that was a very slight drought, but it was hard because I'm like, I'm not watching that. So how was that?
Little baby drop the Lakers got going on now. You know what I mean? That's ticking me off. You know what I mean? But for the Bills to go through that. It's a Music City miracle. It was cursed. The Music City miracle. And that year the Bills would have won the Super Bowl, I think, too, if they would have got past that damn game. You know what I mean? So from that was 1999 to what, 2017? You know what I mean? Yep, so now let's just say now, you know what I mean? 20 years, you know what that's like. Yeah. I just told you that, sure, kids that was born in the year 2000, it has another favorite team. You know what I mean? Because the Bills were never good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how bad the drought was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now they're excited for you guys. You know what I mean? Because y'all are the home team. You know what I mean? So everybody want to see the home team do good no matter what. But I mean, this how dedicated these fans are for them to sell out damn near every year during that time span, that drought, bro. Sell out every like they would man. You might as well call that Barnum Bailey or whatever. They had the biggest thing in time. The fans are so loyal; they selling out every game. So that's how much they love this team.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the transformation of the extended love. It's kind of giving you that college feel like when you do step out. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You know, hey, you get that love. You know, you get courtesy. You know what I mean? Like people appreciate who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just how Buffalo is. And but for it to the anticipation is crazy once again because now people that's my age, you know, saw it when they was Jim Kelly and Thurman. And now those days are finally back. You know what I mean? Where the guys are competing for it. And now this year, for everybody and their mama, including Jimmy Hoffa, by the way, knows that the Bills are the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. They just got to go out there and take it, how y'all say, one game at a time, take care of business. You know what I mean? And this is what's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? This is destiny. And I know I don't want to anybody want to say that or talk like it. I love how Coach got y'all approaching this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I had to ask him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I love the way I love the answer he gave me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coach gonna keep it a buck. If you ask him, he gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So you know, hey, that's what I want to hear because once again, it was from trust the process to finding a way from playoff caliber to damn championship caliber. And damn it, y'all did all four of those things.
Very true.
Literally. So I'm like, this dude a prophet or some shit. Like he is saying this shit, and they are going out there doing that. And that's when you know you got when your coach is a dog, when your if players are a reflection of their coach, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. His demeanor is y'all demeanor. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I already know how coach rolling. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's a physical guy, he's a wrestler. So going in this season, we know it. 3rd and 2, we're not throwing bombs anymore. Not throwing the damn bombs. You know how many tapes I watched this year? The went deep on 3rd and short. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? We ain't signed no disclosures today, so you know, disclaimers or whatever. But I love my guy Days, but me being a coach person, I'm a coach. I just left football practice before I got here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my mindset a little bit different. We run that thing. We in the snow, so we gotta run. Now I'm telling you, with my pass game, you ain't gonna have a chance because my run game is on point.
Yeah,
so I'm killing you with that. But the scary part about your offense, though, y'all gonna have that balance. You know what I mean? Y'all gonna have that balance, and that's gonna be a scary thing. Josh Allen and a balanced attack offense, that's gonna be bad. That's gonna be bad. And that's going to be the thing about Dorsey. Dorsey got to be able to dial that shit up.
We ain't even talk about the defense.
So, yeah, I'm real excited that way, Zach. You know what I mean? And, you know, just having that drought for that long period of time, the anticipation is well beyond the last Super Bowl run the Bills had. The anticipation has never been like this right now. It's too long. The season should have been started, like you said. OTAs, like, the fans want to see it. I know they're going to be so excited just to see the difference in that offense alone. You know what I mean? We ain't even talked about the defense the whole piece. We even talked about those maniacs over there. But, you know, on the flip side, just to see the run game and Dorsey, what he's bringing to that, I know the fans, I can't wait for the fans to see that. You know what I mean? I got a, you know, sneaky peek, but I can't wait for the fans to see that. And that's why I'm really so anticipated and excited about it, because I'm excited for what this run game is going to do for this offense, man. So, you know, that's how excited I am. I'm quite sure as a handful of Bills Mafia fans are excited the same way as I am. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah, you did for sure.
So, yeah, with that being said, Bills Mafia, man, we appreciate, you know, Zemo, a.k.a. Zach Moss, you know what I mean? You know, big and bad Zach Moss year 3, you know, it's definitely going down, man. I appreciate you, you know, blessing us with your presence, man, in your offseason. You know what I mean? I know you could be
Absolutely.
decompressing, any type of way you want, but to have time for us in the off season, man, I definitely appreciate that. And I can't wait to see you at camp, big dog.
Absolutely, my man. Appreciate you having me on. It was fun chopping it up with you guys for sure.
No doubt, man. And make sure y'all go hit my man up on his Twitter. He got a lot of events, a lot of things going on. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all hit him up, man. You got that website? Is that website still, Brewer?
Yeah. ZemoApparel.com is still going strong. But podcast is probably the best thing that I'm entwined in right now. Obviously, like you alluded to, communications major. So being in the media one day is something I want to do. Analysts and things like that is what I want to do after football. So you guys make sure you check me out on Twitter at Moss Mode Show 1. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Pod.
All right, we're gonna get that linked up. We're gonna get that show linked with fan base. So now you can just add that buck 50 to you too, man. You know what I mean? They need to know when you coming on. So
we talk about some good little things. Talk about some good little things on there.
Yeah, we talk about some great things. We're gonna talk about some more things when we get off of camera. Definitely gonna talk about that. But hey, everybody, choose love, not hate. I know y'all can't wait. For training camp. I'm excited about it. Once again, I'd like to thank my co-host Justus the General. You know what I mean? Super producer making this all possible. Obviously, once again, my man Zemo, you know what I mean, running back for the Buffalo Bills. You are tuned into Believe in Bills podcast on Sirius XM by way of Fanbase Network. We got a great surprise coming up. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna reveal it right now, but hey, once again, I'll see you very soon. Believe in Bills. Let's go.
Go Bills.